Mike Ryback, 100 Litchfield Road, Town Attorney. First of all, I've already given the zoning commission my opinion about some of these zoning regulations, and I've cautioned them about proceedings in at least 2 or 3 of these, maybe half dozen actually, because there are areas of these regulations that could prove troublesome to the town. I have 35 years experience at the bar, and this issue, or various versions of this issue, have come up at least a half dozen times. You asked me to review 6 pages of a petition concerning the proposed zoning regulation amendment signed by approximately, at that time I had, I think, 97 signatures, and then I got another sheet later in the day, and taxpayers of the town. So electors and taxpayers of the town. Those are the people eligible to vote at town meetings. The town clerk is verifying the signatures, and I would ask her if she has verified the signatures.
Yes, 118.
118, and they're all either electors or
The petition
taxpayers.
we handed in is incorrect. We agree on that. There is another way to attack this. We just did it the wrong way. We agree on that.
I said what the 3 remedies are that I know.
Which I got those 3 things I'm very clear on. I will research them and make sure that if we're here again, and hopefully that's not the case and this all goes away, but we have that all in order for the next time. And I certainly hope there's not a next time.
I would hope not to. I advised the commission early on that any time you tamper with touch the zoning regulations, you're affecting everybody's property in town. And the only type of petition that the zoning statutes even recognize is a protest petition for zone changes. But in this case, they've changed the rules for the entire town. In this case, they've changed the rules for the entire town. Rules for the entire town. And that has a threshold of 20% of the area affected by the change. If those owners sign a petition, it then requires the rules to be adopted by a supermajority of 2. This has never been done. It's normally done for zone changes.
Right.
Where you have just a small area.
Yeah.
And if 20% of the area within that zone and within 200 feet of it,
Yeah.
those owners sign and file a protest petition with the commission before the commission decides the regulation changes, then it requires a supermajority to adopt the zone change, the regulation change. The trouble here is these affect the entire town. You're never going to get a 20% threshold. No, because the smaller the number, the easier it is to get the signatures.
Oh, we'll get them.
I'm
We'll get
I'm not
them.
sure I would.
We'll get them.
I'm not going to advise you what to do. No power over the zoning commission. But you have the power of strong persuasion in that their item does not get included in the town budget without your approval.
That investigation, since I'm concerned about, and it's an ethics violation. Are you aware of the procedure, how that will be handled? Since I don't believe we've ever had this before.
No, but not to my knowledge, we ever have had anyone alleging there's one. I'm just going to leave it at that level for now. But what I can say is if you have evidence that there is some kind of impropriety in a relationship affecting a member of a board in this town that is about to vote on something that could have an effect on all of us, I think it behooves you to bring it forward in some fashion.
And that leads me to the next question. If I am allowed to FOI all email correspondence of an elected official, whether it's on a city phone or private phone, because he's an elected official, do I have the right to FOI their personal cell phones and everything else?
Not without going to the FOI commission. And the reason for that is it's commingled with personal, private information, as opposed to the public records, which shouldn't have any of that in it.
Okay. So I approach the FOI commission, I'm allowed to turn around and request. They will look at it, and they will deem, and I believe that what they'll do is they'll collect the evidence. Usually what will happen is they collect it, they'll go through what's admissible and not admissible for personal and public. Is that correct?
That's what they do with what I would call mixed information.
Okay. But we'd have to approach it from the state FOI then.
And I would hope we could avoid that expense if you have something that bears directly on this.
Well, I would say this, is that I'm gonna let them do their bidding. And when the time, if that's the case, and this individual or these individuals cannot do the right thing by the time, I would certainly hope that these individuals, having a sense of community, would be smart enough to drop everything and let it go.
If
Let's
you're
just-
right, I would hope so.
And let's move on.
And based on the public participation tonight, I think that it would be in our best interest as the Board of Selectmen, and I'm recommending it to you guys, and you tell me if you're on board or not. I have spoken already at the public hearings that I am against the current regulations as they're proposed, and ask that they go back and get a professional planner and start over from scratch. With that said, and in light of some of the new information, I would suggest that we include a copy of I would suggest that we draft a letter. So we'll draft a letter to the zoning commission inclusive of all the information that we've gathered here tonight, inclusive of the petition that was signed by all the individuals so they can review it, and regarding all the information that you've provided.
Coming from the finance board, the zoning board is allowed to approach and ask for the funds.
They have to approach the selectmen for the funds, and the selectmen have to approve those funds.
At some point, as selectman, does that cross your desk? That those funds at request?
Yes, the budget request does come.
So you have the opportunity at that point, as you stated you were against this, to turn around and deny those funds being spent.
Yes.
Okay.
We have the ability to.
I'd like to point out for the record that Mr. Truskowskis is the brother of Mr. Truskowskis on the zoning commission. They're both engaged in similar professions and occupations, and I believe that Mr. Truskowskis here on your commission, on your board, should recuse himself from voting and from other input on this question.